Well, good morning. Little product update very quickly. Several things going on, and this was the easiest way to share it with a lot of you guys, and a little bit of information along the way maybe. Website stuff. We're transitioning all of the Atlas stuff off of the hillsgun.com website over to the atlasmachineshop.com website. And I've slowly been doing that. On the hillsgun website, I'm showing that stuff out of stock as I transfer it over with a little note, hopefully directing you to that product page type of thing. I'm bad about updating websites. I apologize, we're kind of crude here, but slowly that's happening, and we're trying to spend a little more time working on that. So I've had requests for some parts that are on one website and not on the other, so I've been transitioning them over to the atlasmachineshop.com website. Hopefully that stock is current, shipping is the way it's supposed to be, and less confusion. And we're adding products along the way. One of those is the screws for the compound swivel on the Atlas lathe. And I showed you these screws. They're square-headed 3/8 16 for the two compound swivels on the 10 and the 12-inch lathe. And I showed you could find these at your local Ace Hardware, probably your big box stores too. They're about $1 a piece. They are showing up on Fleabay from a seller that's selling them for $20 for a pair of them. So I already showed you how you can find these, where you can get them and everything. I now am stocking these. So I talked to my little metal supplier. I was actually over there this morning picking up some other stuff. And if you buy them in large enough quantity, why, you can get a fairly decent price on them. So this is a original screw, or this is a factory replacement, the way you're going to buy them from your supplier. The problem I have with these is they're kind of sharp on the end, right down there. And what I do with these is, and I think that's exactly the way you're getting them when you're buying them off of Fleabay for $20 for a pair. What I'm doing is hitting them on the belt sander very lightly and then going over to the buffer. So if you order them from me, you're going to get them like that. Now, I'm not getting excited about how far I take that down, or I'm not going clear to the center dimple. All I'm doing is giving you a flat surface there and then polishing them off. There's enough length, you can shorten them up to where all you've got's a flat surface, but I think it's just better to have something slightly polished and fairly smooth that's going to ride on the back of the pins that go in those compounds, so you don't mar them up. So anyway, that's the way I'm going to sell them. They're going to be in packages of 2, and I think we're going to probably put those out for $5 for the pair of them, and probably about $3 shipping. Now, the way the website should be set up, and hopefully it is if you buy multiple things from me off of that website, why, the shipping for the most part is only going to be on the most expensive item, and then anything you add on there's not going to be any added shipping charges. So hopefully that'll work out right. That's what's going on with those. And I think that pretty much covers the website. I've been moving stuff over there yesterday I spent quite a bit of time moving stuff over, and I've got to get some pictures loaded on a couple of items and everything. But anyway, hopefully these will be up on the website by tomorrow. So that's what's going on with those. And I think the only other thing about website is I've had several guys question me, especially on T-nuts. When I loaded those onto the website, I set them up as a pair. Several guys wanted more than 2. They wanted 4, for example, on the Atlas shaper to hold down the shaper vise. So perfectly understandable. Normally when I set most of that stuff up on the website, I set it up so that they're sold individually. The reason being, I'm selling this stuff, I think, for the most part inexpensively enough that I don't want to supply the resellers. I don't want somebody sending in an order for 10 pairs of T-nuts, because they're going to turn around and sell them on eBay for 2 or 3 times the price. So that's the reason I've done that. I'll probably continue to do that, but if you need more than one, this is aimed pretty much at the hobbyist or the guy in their home shop like I am, and hopefully like you are, where you're just dealing with one machine. So I feel like you're only going to need one shaper guard, or one set of T-nuts. In examples like T-nuts, what I'll probably do is I'll go back and just put up another listing that's got 4 T-nuts in it instead of 2. And that way that'll alleviate the problem. The cost will be the same. It's just that it'll all be one shipping cost, and you'll have the option of ordering 4 of them in situations like that where you may want more than just a pair. So that's the reason for doing that. If you've got any questions about things like that or want to order multiples, before you actually place your order on that website, just shoot me an email, and if I can, I'll accommodate you. Mill drawbars. I have historically built those out of 4100 series, 4140, 4142 pre-hardened material. So it was already fairly hard, yet it's still machinable. So I think that's really a good compromise. The original Atlas drawbars were made out of mild steel. The prints call those as 1112, which I believe is just basically a cold roll or something very similar to that. And they hold up fine. There's no reason to go beyond just even a cold roll for those. They'll last for years. Mine's the one that I'm using on my mill. I think I've had on there. I built it 20 some years ago, and it's still basically just as good as it was then, and it hasn't been hardened at all. So I've historically used that 4140 or 4142, something like that, that's pre-hardened. I found here recently that seems to be made out of unobtainium. I've never had a problem getting it before, but evidently with the supply chain, the way things are in the world right now, why I'm seeing 3 or 4 of the suppliers that I used to be able to go to and at least quote that material, they don't even show it as a stocking item anymore, and I'm having trouble finding it. I did find a short piece, but I think in the future those are probably going to be a stainless steel item. I'm probably going to produce those out of stainless steel, which is what I actually built the one on the Atlas Affordable series before. So I think it's a good substitute. It'll last fine, it'll work fine, and I don't have to blue it, although it's material-wise it's a little more expensive, so it's kind of a wash for me. So they'll stay on the website. I'll try and get that updated here later today, probably, to show that. But in the future, for the foreseeable future anyway, we're probably going to see those made out of stainless steel rather than that pre-hardened and blued. So that's what's going on with mill drawbars. I've had several requests for parts that I either am not currently producing or really had no intention of producing. One of those is arbors for on the Atlas mills. Times past, I produced a few of those, and I was never really happy with the quality of them just because they came with a turn finish. They were lathe turned rather than ground, and Atlas calls those on the prints to be ground. They're supposed to be cylindrically ground all over, and that's the way I think they really need to be. I'm kind of working on something to go in that direction, but it's not anything that's going to happen right away. What I may do, and I don't know that I'm going to offer any of them, is I will probably, as I have time, set up the CNC lathe and at least turn out some blanks and see what they look like. See what kind of a finish I get, see how well they measure out and what we're going to do on there. There's some issues with doing that to where I really feel like they need to be ground rather than just lathe turned. So maybe we'll do something there, maybe we won't. The only other thing that I've had requests for has been some guards, and it's some guards, especially for the Atlas mill, that I've never seen. Had a gentleman email me and sent me a picture of a guard that he's trying to replace, which is a damaged guard, and it is it's a transitional guard is what I'm going to call it. The guard that is on my milling machine is an early guard, and it is the number on it is a M1402, and it is this guard, other than the fact that it also has a mounting boss that comes out on this side that's got a clamp on it. And clamps. This is part of a pattern here that I'm working on, but it clamps on there. This is still shown. This style guarding is still shown in the Atlas catalogs up until 1943. My next catalog is a 1945 catalog, and it shows the later style guards that is a 2-piece guard. So this upper portion would be part of the top guard, or the top cover, and then the bottom guard is the big wide one that swings out. It's what they show in 1945. Apparently, I'm guessing in 1944 sometime, they did a transition, and I will attribute it to having easier access so that they could get to those belts with a swing out guard But in the interim, they went to that bigger guard, and I think they probably did that to be allowed to change pulley sizes a little bit. I don't know exactly what transitions they did in there, but I'm assuming it's because they wanted to change pulley sizes, motor sizes, the way it was mounted, something. So they've gone to that wider guard. The guard that this gentleman sent me a picture of is the later style guard, but it has a solid mounting boss, or the pinch style mounting boss, and was not a swing out guard. Never seen one. That's one that I have not seen before. Like I say, it's got to be a transition guard, probably in 1944 sometime, between mid-1943 and when that catalog was produced, and beginning of 1945. I'm working on a pattern for that. I'm slowly working on a pattern for that. We'll try and produce one for this gentleman, but I'm having to kind of reverse engineer it, because what's going to happen is I'm going to take a later style guard and we'll see how it lays out on the mounting with the new style guards, and we'll use one of my mills as a guinea pig for that, to do the fit up on it. So that's there's stuff like that I'm trying to deal with. So we're adding things all the time. You know, I've got several patterns that I'm working on for different things. Right now I'm kind of concentrating on the mill, but there's a little bit of everything going on. So just wanted to give you a quick update. So I appreciate you guys supporting the channel and supporting me by purchasing some of these products for your machines. So anyway, hopefully you find this a little bit informative. Comment suggestions, leave them in the comments section for me below. As always, thanks for taking the time to watch, guys.